Ladies and gentlemen, we are live!
Welcome, folks, back to the Blood and Bandage MMA podcast. And myself and Paul are sitting here across the table from each other. And Paul, I believe you had a very interesting chat with Ireland's newest UFC prospect. Do you want to give us a heads up on who it is and maybe kind of give him an introduction?
Yeah, Mr. Rhys McKee. Rhys, some of you might know, is after coming off a loss. It took a short notice fight in the UFC Fight Island and just happened to be unfortunate enough to take the fight against Khamzat Chimaev.
Yeah.
Took it on a like less than 2 weeks' notice, and we all know what happened in that fight. But for people who don't know who Rhys McKee is, like from the Irish scene, he's been the up-and-comer for quite some time now. Made his debut with Bama, fought Johnny Jitsu, in front of a packed 3 arena.
Yeah.
Pro debut, and I can remember I was at that fight actually, and he was phenomenal.
Did he won that by guillotine, was it?
First round rear naked choke,
yeah, it was a submission, I remember. Yeah.
And Johnny Jitsu, like his whole thing. And I actually remember I was at his second fight as well, which was also in the 3 arena, where he head kick KO'd Alex Makaku, I believe his name is. And I actually met him outside the stadium after the fight, and he was basically standing at the burger stand, and I just said hello to him. I was like, "Hello, Rhys," and he was like, he in his accent, I won't even attempt to do the accent.
Go on.
Not a fucking hope. I'll get a lot of hate from a lot of the Northern Irish people if I attempt to do that accent. But he was standing outside and he was just getting a burger, and I said hello, Rhys, and he was like, Jesus, I didn't expect anyone to actually recognise me. And really humble guy, really quiet guy.
Comes across as really humble. Yeah.
And I was like, so you must be buzzing. He was like, man, I just want a burger. He was like, I've been sitting watching fights all night because he was the first fight in the card. He was like, I've been fucking starving. I just want a burger and go home to bed. But like you could tell from real early on, I mean, he was 2-0 at that point, fighting on huge shows.
Yeah. And
you could tell from that early on, now he's gone on to beat Jai Herbert, Tommy McCafferty when he was only 2-0, to go 3-0. And Tommy was a big prospect. There was actually talks just before that. Tommy McCafferty fought Brian Moore, and UFC were sniffing around Tommy McCafferty before that fight. He had a bad loss to Brian Moore, and then he followed it up with a bad loss to Rhys. Rhys TKO'd him in the first round as well. And it was kind of at that point, everyone's eyes was on Rhys. He was a big prospect. Wins over Jai Herbert. Like he was 9-2-1 going into or 10-2-1 going into the UFC. So the fight on Fight Island, look, he came up against the opponent he had, and it was a tough one on such short notice, but he's definitely going to go places in that welterweight division. Very, very, very promising talent. So definitely one to look forward to. But he's fighting on November 14th, which is in about 13 days time, against Alex Morono, who is a tough UFC vet, 10 fights, been there for quite a bit, so it's an interesting one. But if we'll queue up the
absolutely
video there for the interview.
Yep, and for all the listeners out there, make sure you give Rhys a follow on his socials and tell him we sent you, right? Here, listen to this.
So, hello, Rhys. How are you getting on?
Yeah, good. Busy after an hour.
I believe you had an impromptu caller today.
Yeah, USADA aren't long away, so a nice impromptu test, but all good.
Yeah. And you were saying that they actually, it was an Irish person that called to you. I was assuming that it'd be someone to fly over from the States, but...
Yeah, so USADA work with an Irish kind of testing body, and they come up to test me. So but it's no different to USADA test, fully professional and anything you'd expect from USADA.
Yeah. And like just going into, I suppose you were in the gym when they called, were you?
Yeah. We started warming up. Literally just started into some live rounds, and we heard the knock at the door. But they're very professional. We were able to train for another 35 minutes before we'd done any testing. So it's not as if they come and say, right,
hounding you straight away. Yeah.
They're very, they're professional. They know what's happening.
Yeah, and you're still in lockdown up there, aren't you?
We are in we're in restrictions, not so much lockdown like
yes.
leave the south in lockdown.
Yeah, we're very much in lockdown down here. Yeah.
Yeah, so we can still, like, the best way to say it is we can't go in people's houses, but we can still get takeaway food and bars and stuff. I don't even, see, to be honest, I don't even know. I just focus on the gym and my training, and if I can still fly out of the country.
and it hasn't affected your training, so in any way.
No, we have created, as an elite athlete, you're able to still train. So we've created a little bubble of training partners, and we're still getting work in. And I believe this will be, it's a very purified training system. There's no nonsense on the mats. You're there for purpose and a specific training or a specific fight, which this time happens to be mine. So yeah, to be honest, I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I suppose there's no distractions in the gyms, youth classes and whatnot that would be going on in your normal given week.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're literally going into the gym, right? Like, what will we work on? Boom, let's get it done. Let's go. It's literally it's so there's something really, really cool about it. Really, really cool.
Yeah, and I did want to touch on that. I suppose the fighting without an audience. Now you're looking at your career. Your debut was in the Tree Arena, and from there, all your fights were big venues, big crowds. Was it very strange going into that environment where it was an empty room, just a few people there?
You know what? And like in Abu Dhabi, like everything was weird. Like there was nothing normal. Everything was so bizarre and last minute, and like it was just bizarre. So by the time I walked to the cage, like the having no crowd was the last thing that was weird. And but that being said, like I am a fighter that likes a crowd. Who isn't? But I feel like when the cameras are on and it's in the UFC, like
that's as good as a crowd kind of thing.
Exactly. Like, so for me, like it absolutely changed absolutely nothing for me. But I do look forward to fighting in the MGM with the big crowd. But
yeah, and I suppose result aside on Fight Island, what was the Fight Island experience like?
Yeah, amazing. Obviously, as you said, bar the result, I've never experienced treatment like it from obviously any promotion. It's very obvious to see why the UFC are the top at what they do. Couldn't have done more for us. Just absolutely phenomenal. Like, and it's just so exciting to be their athlete. It's so very good. It's a privilege, of course.
And we do have to touch on the fight. The Khamzat Chimaev, he's been rip-roaring through the UFC since he started. I know you'd seen the John Phillips fight, I'm sure, 2 weeks beforehand, but were you shocked by his strength and by his kind of demeanour in there?
You know what, like, and I mean, the performance maybe says different, but it wasn't like, it wasn't anything I hadn't felt before. That I put a lot of it down. I didn't. Again, that's not an excuse by any means, but I hadn't wrestled in 14 or 15 weeks with lockdown. So like the muscle memory of them exchanges and stuff, I was like 3 seconds behind everything. And in MMA, you can be 1 second behind, never mind 3. So, I had no answer. Anytime I moved, he was there before me, and, he got the job done. But it's a fight with a few wins that I believe will have to run back. I believe I'm going to go to the top of this division, and, so will he. So I believe we'll meet again.
Yeah, and touching on that, you do believe you're staying so at welterweight, because I read somewhere that you were thinking about considering a move down to lightweight.
No, it's the most talked topic in my career at the minute with the whole weight stuff. But no, welterweight's good for now, for the foreseeable future. Like unless anything drastic changes, which I couldn't imagine what it would be. Welterweight's definitely my home. I'm 6'2", borderline 6'3". I walk about 190, 195, 196. So
that'd be a big cut to lightweight, yeah.
Yeah, and like I when I was cutting the lightweight, I was about 185. So you have to account for the extra weight. And I could make the weight, but I couldn't fight in the UFC. You would catch me on smaller shows because I couldn't perform the same way I can at welterweight.
Yeah. I suppose I want to get your opinion. You were saying there that Khamzat's on the rise, and you're hoping to get that one back down the road. What have you made of him since his quick rise, fighting Leon Edwards now on December 19th?
Yeah, it's Leon Edwards is it's one of the weirdest guys in the division because I think he's ranked third in the world. He's due a title shot, but yeah, he's not. I think he seems to like kind of like this Marmite character, and the people love or hate.
Yeah,
I think he's. I enjoy watching him fight. I think Khamzat's, he's up against it. But listen, if Khamzat can beat Leon Edwards, like, what can you say? But I think for Leon Edwards, there's more to gain for Khamzat than there is Edwards. But it's a weird fight, but I'll definitely watch it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Regardless, the winner there is probably going to get next shot at the title. I know it's very early in Khamzat's career, but you would imagine.
But it's ridiculous. But UFC is a PR machine. They love something weird. They love something. So I know it's just mad the situation we're talking. But I'm all for it.
Like you were saying about the PR machine, I noticed recently you'd teamed up with Our Kings Competitions up in Belfast. I believe they're in Belfast.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that since the UFC debut that your socials have grown and that it's been easier to get sponsorships and stuff like that? Is it made a big difference?
Yeah, absolutely it has. Everything's just a bit more respected and different once the UFC is attached to your name. It was very frustrating in some ways because we had a lot of companies that I previously talked to and wanted to work with, like I wanted to work with them, and they were very quick to say no, and then they were some of the first people to message after. But
come crawling back.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a relationship with them people. I'm very big on my morals like that. So everything's different in the UFC, but it's at the end of the day, it's the same old, it's the same hard work that needs to be done. And you can get caught up in the shiny things, but it's fantastic to be recognised as well.
Just touching on your next fight, you have Alex Morono coming up. It's about 12 days out now. Do you feel a little bit like I'm not going to say you're being thrown to the wolves, but like Khamzat in your first fight, two guys had previously turned down, and now you have Alex Morono, who's a 10-fight vet. They're two tough outings for your first two bouts in the UFC. Now, stylistically, I believe it's a good matchup for you, but to be getting a 10-fight vet on your second outing is... Or do you believe that's just down to where they see you in the division?
Yeah, there you go. I think your last sentence was exactly right. I think it speaks volumes of why I'm in the UFC. The fact that they gave me a 10-fight vet. Again, with a win here, that puts me in vet status. It puts me where Morono was. I love this fight. I think it's fantastic. If I'm being honest, I would have been disappointed if they gave me a debut or a 2-fight UFC fighter. So I'm absolutely chuffed with this. And as you said, the style it makes for a fantastic fight. I'm very, very excited. I love it. He's dangerous. He's aggressive. He's been there a long time. So I have a lot of respect for him as a fighter. But it's just a different level.
What can we expect to see in that fight? I don't want you to give away a full game plan, but where do you see that fight taking place?
My game plan is the same. Heavy pressure, take them in the middle of the cage, walk them down, and just break a soul. Like I try and do every fight. Very similar to the Hack and Foss kind of style fight. Pressure, and I'm a relentless fighter, and I'm there to the end. But I believe first round I'll get him out.
I do want to get your opinion on the main event in that card. You have Islam Makhachev against RDA, who's recently moved from welterweight down to lightweight, back down to lightweight, I suppose. How do you see that fight going, or do you have an opinion on it?
Yeah, you know what? They're not actually two fighters that I know too much about. I know the hypes with Makhachev, but RDA is RDA. He's a former champ for a reason. It's a fight. I'll definitely watch it, but I think come November 14th, it's all about me, and that's what I'm excited for.
How soon after giving that it's a victory, how soon after would you like to get back in there? Are you hoping to turn around quick? Are you hoping to get a few fights in 2021, or what is the goal?
Listen, if I come out the way I plan to come out of there, I could hang about and maybe do the next week or the week after that.
Not waiting around for Fight Island again.
Yeah, well, Fight Island was good too. I would like if there was an availability, soon after and injury free. Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't say no again. If without that though, I'd be looking to early new year. I'm a busy. I haven't got the chance to be busy the way I love to be earlier in my pro career. So if we get that streak going again, it'd be fantastic.
Yeah, and welterweight at the moment is popping. Like, there's a lot of big fighters and even unranked guys. There's a lot of great opponents there. Is there anyone you have in mind, or?
Yeah, I'd like to mix up with Curtis Condit. I think me and Condit would have a fantastic fight. The likes of Nico Price who fought Morono.
Yeah, and Cowboy as well.
Maybe me and Nico or me and Donald Cerrone. That's three names right off the bat that I could fight after this.
All
so
big names. I like it. I do want to get your opinion on the lightweight division. I know you said you're not moving down, but with a recent activity with Khabib retiring, then maybe he's not retired. We don't know. But what is your opinion on what's going on in that division at the moment? And do you see possibly even a 165 division opening up in the UFC anytime soon?
It's funky. The lightweight division's weird. Obviously, you got Conor and Dustin fighting, and Khabib is meant to be coming back, but he's meant to be retired. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know where that division goes from that. I think the Dustin. I don't know. I think Gaethje and Gaethje. I don't know. It's weird because Gaethje's already beat Ferguson.
They've all kind of gone around in circles, beating each other. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a real soap series, isn't it? Like it's just weird. So I don't know, but I don't think anybody beats Khabib. No. Period. Yeah. As for the 165, yeah, I think we're nowhere near like that changing in sports. But I think if we started at 125, had a 135, 140, 155, 165, done it in tens rather than 55, 70, 85 or whatever it is, 180 maybe. I think that would be healthier, but. Again, I think we're many years away from that happening.
In my opinion, it would allow for a lot more activity within the divisions, and you'd have, like, you look at the 70 division, you look at the 55 division, and there's monsters not ranked because they have 100 plus fighters in both divisions. I just think it would make sense. Mm-hmm. Would you see yourself at 75 or 65, or is 70 kind of the perfect weight for you?
I think 65 would be good. I'm not a massive, like, I mean, there's welterweights that start their weight or they start their fight camp at 220. Like, at the start of fight camp I was 198. A big difference. Like, it's ridiculous how much weight some people are cutting. But I think I could fit into the 165. But 170 is nice. 170 I need about 4 weeks. Yeah. Where lightweight I need at 12.
Yeah, I suppose Khamzat being one of those, he's definitely cut from, like, he looks like a big middleweight. He's definitely cut from a huge weight.
Yeah, I actually always expected Khamzat to be bigger because remember, like, when the news of the fight broke, people were talking about, like, this guy is going to dwarf Rhys. He's going to be double the size, and then I see I didn't think me and Khamzat looked too, like, the size wasn't like a big difference at all, So yeah, I think just because I had such a successful run at 55, people are always going to ask me, will I go back? But no, I'm confident in my decision.
I suppose looking forward to 2021, we already kind of touched on it, and the welterweight division. Do you see Usman continuing to retain the belt, or do you see anyone else in that division that is going to usurp him? Or
it's hard because like Colby Covington was the guy. In my opinion, he was gonna beat him, and then the fight happened. So I don't know. I think Usman is one of these guys that he looks like he's easy enough to beat, but nobody can beat him.
Just ugly fights.
Ugly fights, but gets it done. That again, the top 10 in welterweight is ridiculous, or top 15, top 20 is ridiculous. So, that's a division, like, it's an exciting one. Leon Edwards, it deserves his crack, especially if he gets through Khamzat.
And how far do you see yourself away from that top 15?
Beat Morono, beat a Condit or a legend like that. and then the next one I feel should be, you know, a top 15.
So you'd be hoping really to get in there in 2021 would be the goal.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, mid 21. You know, yeah. I can't see. You know, and again, coming back to what you said, I think that's apparent that they're giving me someone who's had 10 fights. You know, the next one, Eagle Price, I don't believe has had 10 fights in the UFC. You know, so yeah, that's I like skipping queues, and that's
You're not hanging about.
no, for sure. It's a young man's game,
Yeah.
so.
Before we let you go, and I appreciate you massively coming on, is there any shout outs you want to do?
Listen, just shout out to the whole company that's behind me, everybody that's behind me. You know, you can catch me on socials where I thank sponsors and training partners frequently. You know, I'm extremely grateful for everyone who helps me. So, you know, I think that's the easiest way. I could start shouting out people and then everybody's like, "What about us?"
Yeah,
So,
no worries. Listen, really appreciate you coming on, and best of skills in 12 days' time.
thank
No
you so
problem,
much.
Rhys.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Cheers, mate.
Sorry, no, just stopping the recording. Don't worry about us.
Perfect. All
Yeah,
good, mate?
perfect, man.
Cool. Yeah.
Appreciate you coming on.